Ralph Phillips. Gentlemen, start your engine.
The Sweet Thunder rolls once again over Daytona. We'll be back with a start in just a moment. Roll out at Daytona. Back of the field getting organized. Different colors on that number 24.
Yeah, that's his new paint job. If that other car was a rainbow, this must be a thunderstorm here. It's a dark cloud coming at you.
Just for this race. Race analysis here, Ned.
Well, there are 14 cars starting the race. 10 laps this first segment, 25 miles. And the winner can take home $30,000. Bill Elliott ran over 197 miles an hour to win this race back in 1987. Of course, that was before the days of the restrictor plates.
Track analysis, Darrell.
Yeah, what we got here is that this track is 31 degrees through the corners. Pretty high bank. Only Talladega is higher. And then as we move off the corner, that's off turn 2 there, and you move down the straightaway, or into the tri-oval, actually. The tri-oval is 18 degrees, and it doesn't drive that way. The tri-oval feels fairly flat, so not a real big transition out of the tri-oval onto the short straightaways, which are banked 6 degrees, just like the back straightaway is. But let me tell you, when you come off that back straightaway 6 degrees into that 31-degree banking, that, my friend, is a real ride with a lot of downforce.
And on this 2.5-mile track, the car that seems to cut the best and have the most power coming off that number 2 turn has been the number 88 of Jarrett, who's driving the same car in which he won this race a year ago. Manufacturer's breakdown for this race: 7 Fords, 4 Chevrolets, 3 Pontiacs, ready for the go.
Yeah, it takes a lot of horsepower to do what he does over there, and everybody knows that he's got the horsepower. If he can get himself in a position, he should be a real favorite in this race.
Take a look at the in cars here. You're riding with Jeff Gordon, shotgun position, last on the field, 14th.
That looks like a long way to the front, doesn't it?
Ricky Craven starts 11th. Pride of New England in the Budweiser, number 25. Ernie Irvin's number 28. He'll start 7th today, right in the middle of this block. And then there's last year's winner, Jarrett, number 88, outside of that second row.
You got to tell yourself it's a 10-lap race. It's 10 laps to go in the Daytona 500, and you got to have at it right now if you're going to win the thing.
Good analogy. Hey, they get
one lap.
You know, that's where I think Earnhardt has a big advantage. He can think like that. And the other guys are kind of like I said, the first 10 laps, they kind of feel each other out. Excuse me, pardon me, can I get in here? He doesn't feel that way.
The starting order for the second segment of the Busch Clash, inverted from how they finished in segment 1. We wondered how the drivers would approach this first segment.
I'll try to maneuver around, see what my car can do by itself or you know, around other cars the first 10-lap segment, and then after that, you know, that's when my strategy starts coming in. If I can't win the first segment, then I think that, you know, I'm going to try to be somewhere mid-pack so that it's a little bit easier to try to get to the front for the second segment.
A lot of guys, they say if you lag back in the first segment and you end up starting in the front, it's better. But, I mean, most of the guys know it's not, because just about the time you get to the first corner, you'll get drafted by in the back straightaway.
I race for every position because that's what I do. So, you know, we're going to try to lead anything we can or be as high up in the finishing order as we can, just because the fans expect that and deserve, you know, that.
Mark Martin, his 10th appearance in the Clash. 3 drivers have been here for 11 previous runs. They include Terry Labonte and Rusty Wallace in this one, as we get set, and of course Earnhardt coming to green this time by.
Well, they get the engines revved up and get ready to go when the pace car pulls off the track coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, we got a new pace car driver.
And Buster Otten is taking over for the late Elmo Langley, two-time Winston Cup winner who died of a heart attack while we were in Japan at the end of the year.
I think in those pieces we just saw, some drivers drive with their heart, some drivers drive with their head, some drivers drive for the mighty dollar. That's what we got here.
Out of 4.
I'd like to have a heart monitor on those guys right now because mine's beating 900 miles an hour.
Pace car is in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 1997 Winston Cup style.
Boy, big move for Labonte. He got a great start. That may have been set up. Him and Mark may have decided to do that.
Right out. Mark jumped right down behind him as soon as Labonte jumped out in front.
Ernie Irvan tries for the inside 3 wide into 1 and busts his way through. Coming up to speed, they won't attain full speed till about turn 3. Here's Earnhardt looking on the inside of Bobby Labonte. 3 wide.
That's the Earnhardt trademark. Coming off of that second turn, he got the draft. And here he goes, passing them. Bobby Labonte going backwards, Earnhardt going forwards.
Yeah, Labonte, I watched him in practice. That Pontiac is not as fast as that Chevrolet was last year. They've still got some work to do.
Now they come to complete lap number 1. Terry Labonte out in front, hanging right on the rear bumper. It's the number 6. The colors of Mark Martin, and right with him comes Rusty Wallace in the number 2. So as you stack them up at the present time, it's Chevy and a couple of Fords.
I'm pretty disappointed. Earnhardt, he ain't going nowhere. He's kind of hung up right where he started. And those 4 guys out front are just booking on, so that's big.
Yeah, they're hooked up in single file out there while the others race for position back there, and they're just pulling away.
Yeah, they won't get away. There's no way you can get away. As soon as these guys back here bunched up, get lined up, they'll catch them back. But I'm surprised Earnhardt couldn't go any further up than he did.
Well, he doesn't really have any room there now, Darrell. There's not much of a place for him to go.
No, it's not. He's bumper to bumper, as we say. Door handle to door handle.
Coming around to complete lap number 2.
Oh, here he goes. He's looking down on Ernie there.
He decided that might not be the place to do that, so he backs off.
Oh, here. Oh, man. Now,
Backs off and got passed.
you know something? That's exactly what happened. And
That's a replay of last year. When he
you don't think Earnhardt's turned into the strategist here, do you?
Well,
Can't believe it.
maybe he
This is not what we would expect from him, I know.
186.6 that last lap.
Terry Labonte leading. First time since '85 he's led in the Clash.
And you heard him say in the opening, they changed motors, they changed the chassis, they've made a lot of changes. Look like it's working.
The 1985 winner of the event comes down out of turn 4. Leading once again, Mark Martin is in second, Wallace is in third, Dale Jarrett up to 4th. Keep your eye on that 4th place car, number 88.
Picked up to 187.7 on the last lap.
You know, and that's down a couple of miles an hour over qualifying speed. So, you know, they're not setting a blistering pace by any means.
Take a look at this. Craven just picked up 2 spots as he moved under Ernie Irvan. Challenges Ward Burton in the 22 to Dick Berggren.
Larry McReynolds is Earnhardt's new crew chief this year. So far, Earnhardt hasn't said a word to McReynolds, who is just standing here in the pits watching television, shaking his head. He said this was not the plan. They did want to go to the front. They don't know what's wrong with the car. They won't let him do that, though.
Boy, did you see Ernie Irvan? He was 3 wide down on the apron and showed a little maturity there. He backed off.
That was a smart move to back off because it backed in big trouble.
Craven got left out of the draft and slid back.
Irvan has a fast race car. Here he goes again. He's going to make it 3 wide into 1. He has a run. He might make it work this time.
Yeah, he's got the position this time, Ned, and there he goes. He's got a fast car, and he'll help the guys up there in front of him if he catches them.
14 cars starting, 16 a year ago. Good field. 1 wild card, Rusty Wallace, for the 3rd time in his career, the wild card selection where they'd have a drawing from the blimp.
Don't look now, but we're coming up on halfway.
Yeah, this one gets your blood going.
It really does. And you know, that's what surprises me, the 4 cars that are up front like they are. I knew Terry starting on the pole had it, you know, that's a good place to start, but I didn't know if he could stay there or not.
He's hanging right there, and I think that threesome back behind them have hooked up in single file, and they're gaining on the leaders.
That's the 99 of Jeff Gordon leading that threesome.
You're not going to get away very long if you can keep everybody in line. Everybody will get back together if they'll stay a single file.
There's that trio running just behind the front four, led by Jeff Burton. You see directly behind him the 16 of Musgrave, and then Johnny Benson. Now here's Bernie Urban squeezing one off on the inside. That's going to move him into 8th. Drop Ward Burton to 9th. Benson stays 7th. Musgrave 6th. Burton, that trio moving in a little.
Yeah. See, that's the worst thing that could happen to Ernie. They get side by side, and he's stuck. There he goes. He made it 10.
3 packs of cars as we get down to the side of this first segment.
Those front 4 are saying, boy, just let these laps run out, and the next 3 back there are saying, how many more we got to go?
That's right. They need more time.
Mayfield in 10th spot, number 37.
Well, I never would have believed it, but it looks to me like Earnhardt and Gordon are positioning themselves for the second 10 laps.
I think that's exactly what's happening.
Unbelievable qualifying yesterday, and the man on the pole for the Daytona 500 next Sunday is standing by with Mike Joy.
He's the 95 Craftsman Truck Series champ, Ken, and he'll start his first ever Daytona 500 from the pole. Mike Skinner, what are you learning from what you see here in these first 10 laps?
I'll tell you, I can't wait to do that next year. This is a lot of fun.
Well, he's qualified for the Busch Clash. Any surprises from what you've seen thus far?
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Dale didn't get a little bit better start, but he's getting to be a pretty good strategist. This thing is a long ways from over.
That's right. Earnhardt, of course, is Mike Skinner's teammate in Winston Cup racing this year, Ken.
Mike Skinner on the pole for the Daytona 500, and Grissom will start along beside him for Larry Hedrick.
Ken, right now you got Head running first, you got Hart running second, and you got Money running third. See what happens.
All right. Head, Hart, and Money.
There they go.
But there's a lot of heart in that number 2 for sure.
Yeah, and that 88 is sitting there maybe in the best place of all of them. If he's as strong as they say he is, this could be ideal for him.
I don't believe he's as strong as he showed in practice, Darrell. I don't believe that car is working quite as well as it maybe did in practice. And that other group has caught up to him there now, the other 3 cars. So now you have a 7-car draft up front.
Mark Martin perched right there in 2nd spot. Looked like he was going to take a shot out of 2. Wind it up. Dale Jarrett back there in 4th place, giving us these pictures at 190 miles an hour. You're watching it live, the Busch Clash, to start the Winston Cup season. Next Sunday, the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. It's right here on CBS with some 80 cameras. So 80, that's right, to bring you all the action. They continue to move them around in the draft. Right to the outside goes Jarrett.
He's looking up there.
Are we? We're coming up on the halfway, aren't we? 10 laps. I mean, this is the last lap right here.
First segment coming down.
This is where it gets interesting. Who's got what?
Here comes Rusty trying to make a move. Or Mark Martin had gotten around Rusty Wallace, and he's trying to make a move. He wants the Ford to win it, but I don't think he's going to win this first segment. Terry Labonte has him covered.
Terry's got him covered this time.
Down they come to complete the first half into the line, and to start dead last will be Terry Labonte. Right with him comes Martin to the outside, shoving it forward across the stripe with Rusty Wallace in 3rd. Well, it'll be interesting to see what will happen with those guys that were out 10 laps.
Clear if you want it.
See, Labonte hadn't been able to go. You know, his cars looked like it was real slow, but he got a good start there.
Fading back a couple of spots, Earnhardt. Maybe just getting his breath.
He probably didn't want to get hung out if he could help it.
Look at Jarrett coming out of the back.
Oh, this is a perfect scenario when you're in the back. They're 2 or 3 wide up ahead of you. It really gives you a lot of draft.
Jeff Burton goes. Benson goes. Craven trying to stop him. Started to move out. And look at right in between cars, Ernie Irvan.
Wow, Jarrett hoped to follow him through there, but he couldn't get there quick enough. That gap closed up on him.
But he took forward. Ernie Irvan's race cam.
He's the guy that's on the move. He's
190 miles an hour.
And we got them 3 abreast back there. Now they get down to 2 as Ricky Craven backed off a little bit.
Out in front, Bobby Labonte. Jeff Gordon still lying there in second spot.
And there goes Gordon. I think he's got the move right there into turn one. He probably should bring Rusty with him.
And Rusty came from 12th to 3rd in one lap.
And there's Ernie right there, too. So they're looking pretty good right now.
What a move on Rusty Wallace, going reminiscent of some of Dale Earnhardt.
Look at Jeremy Mayfield down here, Ned. Jeremy Mayfield 3 wide down on the inside, and he's going by.
Oh. Dale Jarrett on the bottom, headed for 3. Pitches it down in.
Ernie had a problem. Ernie really had to get out of the throttle. Ken, look at him. He fell way back.
14 guys with one thing on their mind. Checkers or wreckers before this one's over.
There's still 3 abreast. Bobby Labonte, the meat in the sandwich. He's just trying to hang on there.
I'm really impressed with Labonte because, I mean, he didn't run that well in the first segment. Well, no, he's falling back. That's Warren Burton is up in there.
Ricky Craven works on the back of the 88. Down
come on, baby,
straightaway.
come on.
Atta boy.
Come on, Brian. Jump up and down with me.
Yeah. That's Todd in there. That's your cheerleader. That's what I tell you. Everybody gets in this race.
Todd Parrott, the crew chief for number 88, Dale Jarrett. You saw Benson just slip down to the inside as they hit the 3rd turn. Jeff Gordon out in front. Rusty Wallace in that 2nd spot. 1st and 3rd, Earnhardt.
Well, you know, we didn't hear him say anything was wrong with Gordon's car in that first segment, so I think he was probably just doing what we thought he'd do and get himself up front in the second half.
Ward Burton is in 4th. Jeremy Mayfield 5th in the 37.
On it the last time when we pitted.
Boy, Terry can't make it. He's not going anywhere. Terry got what he won. I won the first segment. Y'all had the second.
Got his 30,000.
That's right. I had a good show. Made my sponsor happy.
Listening to Todd Parrott trying to bring the 88 of Jarrett around as Gordon continues to lead. Wallace number 2 in 2nd and Earnhardt number 3 secures 3rd, and there's about a 2-car length interval between 3rd and 4th position as they come down out of 4.
You got to be impressed with Ward Burton and Jeremy Mayfield. I mean, those are young guys that are very inexperienced in this race.
Back in 6th, Jarrett. 7th, Benson.
Benson doing a great job also. This is his first Busch Clash.
3 Pontiacs came out to the start. Now take a look up in front. Here is Gordon leading. Gets himself about a 1-car length advantage off that critical 2nd turn. If you can get out of there perfectly, get that car to cut right, you can really build that horsepower up in the back straightaway.
I've been impressed with Rusty this week down here. He qualified well. He's running well here today, and you know, this is not one of his favorite racetracks.
Mike Joy standing by, former winner of this event.
87 winner of the Clash and the 500. He's been in 14 straight Busch Clashes. Bill Elliott, what are you seeing out here now?
Well, it looks like if Russ can pull down on Gordon, I think Earnhardt's going to try to capitalize on that situation. But it's going to depend on if Gordon will give him the room to pull down on him. As I saw in the last race, it's kind of they fought a little bit, but I think Mark kind of give up a little bit on Terry. But if Rusty pulls down on Gordon and gets it too wide, I think Earnhardt's going to capitalize on that one.
If the front 2 cars or 3 cars stay single file, are you afraid to pull out if you're behind them?
Well, I think at this situation, it's, you know, for the no longer in the race is, I try to pull out, because whatever you lose, if either you're going to win the race or you're going to the back, and you know, second, you ain't going to do no better. So I'd go for it.
It's hero or zero, Ken.
Absolutely.
Bill Elliott, man who started this race 14 times but not in it this year. Last lap at 188.4.
That's a lot quicker than the first race, and I'll tell you something, people at home may not realize it, but that guy in front right now is doing a lot of defensive driving. He's not running the line that he would be normally running if he wasn't trying to hold them guys behind him. He runs the middle of the racetrack. He runs around a good bit off of the corner, different lines, seeing if there's anything there.
Jarrett looking on the high side, nothing there, and Ernie Irvin comes underneath him, sets him back, and with him goes the number 6. Up another spot, Mark Martin. But more on Ernie Irvin. Let's go down to the pits.
Ken, they're not happy with Ernie Irvin's car. They're not exactly sure what's wrong. Robert Yates said it just won't run. Ken?
You know, he had a thing going toward the front there, and then all of a sudden he got 3 wide going into 3 over, and it looked like took the air off the spoil, and he really sent him backwards. He's coming back now, though.
Gordon continuing to stay on the point, and Wallace, after that first lap, moved from 12th up into 2nd.
Here you got Mark Martin and Terry Labonte, and they're at the back of the field, and they won the first segment. So drafting and positioning in this race is so critical.
With 7.5 miles to go, you've got Gordon deployed first, then Rusty Wallace right there. Anybody got anything more to show?
I think they're showing everything that they got right now.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is going to be what Rusty does to the 24 car, to Gordon. I don't think that Ward Burton will be a lot of help to Earnhardt. And that could be Earnhardt's Achilles heel right now, is the car behind him. Because that Pontiac is just, they haven't shown to be that quick out front.
2 laps to go this time by. Here's Mike Joy.
Mike Skinner, if we've learned anything standing up here, it looks like it's that you've got to have help.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we did a little drafting practice down here in the winter, and with the cold air box, it seems like you get right up behind the car and it hits the brakes. I don't know if we're seeing a little bit of that right here or not. We'll find out next Sunday, I reckon, or maybe Thursday in the 125.
What he means by that, Ken, is this time the air cleaner is hooked up directly to where the air goes into the engine, and we're taking in all cold air this time, and there's a lot of concern about whether that's good or bad.
Well, a lot to say that's going to be helpful. Not getting any of that heat off the engine itself. Now, as we come down with a lap to go, Gordon first, Wallace second, Earnhardt third, Burton fourth, Ernie Irvin is in fifth, Mayfield is in sixth, Mark Martin in seventh, and Benson eighth for the line.
All right, you're down by 3. Give it to Michael Jordan and see if he can sink it.
See if Jeff Gordon can hold off Rusty Wallace.
Out of 2.
This is the toughest part in the race right here. It's when you come off that corner and want to know if you wonder if you got enough to make the move or not, and he doesn't have. That's pretty much a done deal, looks to me like.
Gordon takes us down out of turn number 2. Wallace closing in.
Yeah, he needed to make his move off turn 2 if he would have it.
It's a done deal when they come off a 2.
Down for the checkers. To the stripe. 3 wide out and back for where it counts for the big money. Across the line for the checkers. Give it to Jeff Gordon, his second win in the Busch Clash. Won it at 22 years of age back in 1994.